Sunday, September the 30th, 2012, and I'm down in Essex, planning on doing the 13 miles between North Fambridge here and Burnham-on-Crouch. It's a mixed day weather-wise, sunny intervals, grey cloud, but the main thing, it's not raining, which is what prevented me from walking last weekend and several days into the week as well. Thus far, day's been an absolute disaster, and I will stress this point, as I do on my beginning of a lot of my walks, stress the word lot as well. A driver overslept this morning, meaning that we were 13 minutes late at Wickford. Consequently, there was no connection made at Wickford, despite my best efforts at Stratford to get the line controller to make the train wait. They just won't do it. So consequently, instead of starting at 11:20-ish, it's now 12:20-ish. So it's going to be touch and go whether I can complete this walk prior to nightfall. I mean, I could physically do it, no problem, but it would mean rushing the filming and rushing the walk, as opposed to taking a nice leisurely approach. So, not in the best of moods at the minute, but it really infuriates me that the government are talking about spending money on HS2 when they can't even get the basics right. You need to learn how to walk before you run. So let's get the money invested in the actual network we've got, rather than messing around saving 25 minutes on a journey between London and Birmingham. Let's press on. It's mentioned that it's at this point that the single line track becomes a double line passing point, which probably explains why they won't hold the trains. Only 1 an hour on a Sunday, so you know, there's plenty of room for flexibility. So despite running late, I'm doing the full walk. This is the first thing that I notice that catches my eye. A quiet area for parishioners as I walk down this very twee road. Okay, shortly after leaving the twee road, this is the open country we now have on my right. Has been a bit of rainfall over the last few days, as I said earlier, which is what kept me in. So it's a bit muddy and damp underfoot. As a lot of this walk is on a tidal wall, a tidal seawall, shouldn't have any problems with that though later. So on the left here in the undergrowth, you've got the footpath markers referred to in the text, as the author of the walk describes, almost opposite the white buildings on the right, and at the end of the hedge. Turn left here. Now crossing over the railway line, and the sun's coming out, which always lifts a bad mood. Back towards Fambridge, North Fambridge station. Quite an undulating line, this. The text refers to sailing masts being visible on the right, but the only masts I can see are on the left, as I'm heading southwards. That'll be the River Crouch over there where we're headed. Strong southwesterly wind today. Take that back, there are some masts on the right over there. That must be North Fambridge Marina. Good day for yachting as well. I expect we'll see a few out with this strong wind. Turning right here by this concrete footpath marker up towards the church, the Holy Trinity Church at North Fambridge. Very old building that. Can't give you a date, but Google it if you're interested. And from another angle, Views out along the Crouch from the churchyard. Exiting the churchyard via this footpath marker, nicely overgrown with stinging nettles and brambles. And just to give you an idea which corner I'm in, there is the church behind me. Passing the ferry boat inn on the left, which, if like me you get delayed, could be an early lunchtime stop. It's around about 1 o'clock now. In the yacht haven on my left. And tidal area on my right. Passing an information board about the yacht haven. There is the haven on my right with the South Fambridge over the water. Looking back west southwest at South Fambridge. Sorry, that's South Fambridge over there. This is the River Crouch, and ahead of me, as I'm stood by the metal gate referred to in the text and about to enter Blue House Farm SSI Nature Reserve. It's pretty much the walk now along this seawall. Again, looking back at North Fambridge Yacht Haven and landward from a point next to the second kissing gate. And as usual, don't seem to be able to get away from aircraft noise. Not much other noise though, apart from the lapping of the water and the wind, which, as the text describes, is always on your back on this walk, unless you're unlucky. It's like elm. Good outlook. Potentially a picnic spot. Not for me today, as I need to press on. Just looking at the plastic detritus. Almost the plastic, isn't it? I think I read somewhere now that the plastic island floating in the middle of the Pacific is as big as Wales. Absolutely outrageous. Anyway, as you can see here at the third gate, and just to give you some idea of how low it is here, that raised point over there, which is Stamford's farm on the map, is 48 metres per the trig point. So not very high at all round here, as you'd imagine. Very Suffolk-esque, Norfolk-esque. Could be very bitter on a winter day with the wind coming from the northeast or the continent. It's reaching the start of Bridgemarsh Island as marked on the map, which means our walk reroutes to the left here. Over on the right there, in the distance, I believe that's Canewdon, or however it's pronounced, church. My God, I'm struggling with the wind today. Leaving the nature reserve by the fourth metal gate, or the fourth gate that's made of metal. of a nature reserve. I mean, all I've seen in there is a sparrowhawk, some oyster catchers, and a little egret. And my first fellow walkers of the day are just approaching. So a nice quiet walk today. Not sure if you can see. So here we are. It's October. All that concrete sea defence that I've been following thus far, there's much of it around here though, and here we have a bit of the old style defences against the sea. Two o'clock, lunch still hasn't been had yet. We'll need to consider that shortly. Certainly won't be having it at the lunchtime village of Oldthorne, so I might have to consider whether I'm going to get up there or not. Make that decision nearer the point. Plenty of water vole holes over there. Behind the seawall. Another inland lake or pond there. That swan's got it all to himself. Don't know if that's a Buick or a hooper. Large one anyway. Got the orange bill, so that distinguishes it. Okay, 5 kilometres further on now, and I'm at the point in the text, no number so I can't give you one, and the path sharply left inland. Where the lunchtime pub is. As I've hinted, I might not bother going up there, so I won't be able to film the lunchtime pub because I don't frequent them anyway, seeing as it's not on the route and I'm running late. Might just have my lunch down here somewhere if I can find a bench or something to sit on anyway. Even the stile, seeing as it's so quiet today. Still in two minds though. Let's see how I feel when I get round the corner. So that tells me around an hour. That's the onward journey for those who are going up to Oldthorne, across the railway line. Just on the left, Creek's Corner, that's known as. I notice they're well raised in the event that the Crouch bursts its banks. Nice old barge here, awaiting conversion, if you're watching, Tom. Right, I need to make a decision here whether to carry straight on or go down the jetty. That guy over there might be helping me to make it. So here I am at Bridge Marshall Marine, just in front of this stile, and over on my right is the large house with the lake in the garden referred to in the text. Something out of Towie, really. But you don't go down that lane, that will take you back to the railway station at Oldthorne. But if you want to continue to the lunchtime pub, you continue on over the stile, which is where I'm heading anyway, so I can make my decision. So now I know why so many Essex boys cruise around in big flash motors. Seems like some of them. These park homes. So no fat mortgages to worry about. Could of course use that money to buy to lets. Very sensible. Live in a park home, invest in property. Okay, I've got to the point of the text where it is decision time. The onward journey is straight ahead along this green path up into the village of Oldthorne for the lunchtime pub. There's also a church up there which I could have used had I been on time today, but as I'm an hour in arrears, apologies, won't be filming the lunchtime pub today. So I'm going to do what the text tells you not to do and turn right here for the onward journey through that kissing gate, which is a strange thing to see out here, and back along the Crouch embankment. Just got to find somewhere to eat soon though, so 2:30 now. An example here of the sea beating the wall, 1-0 to the sea. I think this is Stokes sluice number 1 up here, where I might have my lunch. Absolutely famished. Oh, well, this is actually Stokes Hall sluice number 2. You can see the map reference, so you know exactly where I am. Stokes Hall will be the big house up on the hill there. Okay, decisions. Where to have lunch? Pleasantly protected from the wind on this leeward side of the seawall. So let's have lunch now. It being almost 3:15. Good a place as any. Okay, it's about 3:25. Lunch has been had, and I'm just passing a section in the text called the cliff. That's the section we're looking at, not the text. Wind's picking up. It's getting a bit greyer, but don't envisage any rain. So we deviate inland slightly to quite a high rise for this walk. You can see from this cracking in the soil, serious erosion. Won't be too long before this bit of the cliff's in the sea as well. What you do get from up here is a good view back towards the way we came. Land towards Oldthorne. Ahead, and the outer features of Burnham. Across the Crouch. Very atmospheric it looks as well in the grey sunlight there. And from the other brow of the hill you see the onward journey towards Burnham. And appropriately the sun's just popping out. Excellent. Plenty of haws about, so possibly a cold winter due. The Cliffs is part of the Stokes Hall estate. With its own little jetty here. Stood by Elm Farm Cricksea Sluice. There are said buildings on the northeast. Lovely thatch building over there, being the farm, and that's the hall, I think, as on the map. We're about to deviate inland a little bit here. It's clearly on its way out. Lovely hum to that, to the air when the tide's on its way out. Invigorating. Creeksea Sailing Club. Various dinghies in there. And interestingly, the chair over there, for those that want a late tea stop or early tea stop, late lunch respite. Onward journey this way. Another bench donated in 2009. Win Hay, who love Creeksea. This is just by the metal footpath sign, which is our onward journey. Looking back up the Crouch, whence we've just come. Walking past these very pleasant properties. Would be interesting to have a look on Rightmove at least and see how much they cost. Clearly the purpose of that marketing board. 10 out of 10 for that service. With their own private jetties, of course. Okay, here's the footpath T-junction mentioned in the text, with Burnham clearly visible behind it. We turn right here, off around that marina. That was me a few weeks ago coming in from Jersey, and I do recall looking down on all this water. Little did I know, a few weeks later I'd be walking it. That's going into Southend, obviously. It is a fantastic view down on here, I will grant you that. Quite an interesting vista, looking down on the Crouch and the Thames. Passing yet another marina, this one more commercial, with a dry dock at the end there. Lifeboat station here. That's for possibly the first time today. I don't get hassles with the wind fighting my camera as I'm behind this line of Leylandii. Memories of Juan-les-Pins in the south of France here, when I was doing some anti-fouling and got the anti-fouling on my hand. Got the scars to remind me of it to this day. There's the Swallowtail, referred to in the text as a possible early tea time stop. Clearly they have to put a board out to say that they are open, because it's not clearly evident. Anyway, no one on the veranda. If you want to turn left here, that's the quick route back to the station. Pink on the map, marked as a shortcut. I'm continuing on the main walk into Burnham, where you turn right here. Guess that originally the path crossed directly ahead there, because this marina looks quite new and they've created that. So the path, yeah, as you can see from this little path in front of me, probably went straight down there, and that was land once. Burnham Yacht Harbour, eh? Now just passing Burnham Riverside Park. And as you can hear, fairs in town. It's that time of year again for fairs. By the War Memorial. It's about 4:15, and interesting little town this. Apparently it's only got a population of 7,500, but a great catchment area. Plenty of tea rooms around anyway. I wonder if that house is so named because it's opposite some public toilets. Which it just so happens to be. Interesting bit of machinery here from former times, outside the chandlery. Nearly at the Royal Corinthians Yacht Club ahead of us there. So this marks the end of today's Riverside section, I believe, the Royal Corinthian Yacht Club. Okay, just beyond the Royal Corinthian Yacht Club, the path continues and does continue around the whole of this peninsula, which I think could be a possible walk. In fact, there's two possible walks from here. You could do perhaps a Burnham Circular, and there's also one from Southminster North, incorporating St Peter's Way, that I think would be interesting. So there's certainly 2 or 3 walks down this part of Essex that could be devised if anyone's so inclined. There's the house referred to in the text for our onward journey into town along Belvedere Road. Interesting feature here as we walk down the high street, a very quiet Essex high street. Confirmation of the time there, so about 4 hours and 15-minute walking at the minute. Burnham is of course one of the UK's busiest yachting towns. Bearing in mind that it's 5 to 5 and the train leaves at 9 minutes past the hour, I may well miss the 9 past 5. So there's Providence, that alley known as, next to the one-stop shop. So I may stop for fish and chips at Souder, fish and chip shop referred to in the text. Burnham town sign. And over on my right again, the fairground. So we've just done a circuit around the town really. Well, incredibly, summing up my luck today, the Souder Village chip shop doesn't open on Sundays. So I passed 2 others earlier. If you want fish and chips on a Sunday in Burnham, you'd be well advised to take your chances with the earlier ones, because this one up near the station isn't open. Well, incredibly, I managed to get the 1709. No time to film at the station because literally the train was in the station as I entered it, so had to make a dash. So that's a positive today. Got the train on time. Shame it wasn't on time earlier. So that's a good walk. Not if you like variety though, not very variable, but a nice fresh bracing walk. Could be very nippy in the winter months. Opportunities there for extensions around the peninsula, I feel. So free walk 162 completed. Let me just check my pedometer, see how many miles I've walked without the extension to Oldthorne. Yeah, without the extension to Oldthorne, I've recorded 10.2 miles. So that's why I finished it so quickly. So that equates to a 3 mile extension for the lunchtime pub and back, by my pedometer anyway, which isn't that accurate, but it was a fairly level surface. Anyway, free walk 162 completed, another one down.